Hi there, I'm Simon Kenton. In this video I'd like to talk about how self-publishing is meant to be free, but it's not really. And some people are kind of missing out on the point, or have a different point of view, at least for me. So there's a few different things that cost money in self-publishing. The first one, which is the most important and most people don't consider, is that their own time. So a book for me takes between 100 to 150 hours, although Green Star took 220, 230 at last estimate. But yeah, it takes a lot of time. If I had done 220 hours of IT work, which is my day job, I don't know, that's a heck of a lot of money. Like, yeah, a lot of money. So, that's the first cost that people don't consider, but that's your own time. So if you're choosing to avoid watching TV and write a book, well then good for you. The next cost is cover. So a book cover is the most important thing in a book, or about a book. It's more important than the contents, if you believe that. People will see a book cover and go, that looks cool, buying the book. People judge the book by the cover. There's a reason why there's a saying about it. That your book could be nothing but the word over and over and over. But if the cover is the most awesome cover that's ever been designed, people will buy your book. And some people, most people maybe, will return it, but some people will not. They'll be annoyed, they'll give you bad reviews, but they'll still buy the book. So a cover is important. And there are pre-made cover services and there are stock images. So the thing that I see that I did myself, so I'm just as guilty as everyone else, is you grab some stock images and you think, oh, a book cover is just a stock image and then some text. What's the problem with that? So you put a stock image onto you match it together in GIMP, make it the right image, right dimension. You put some text on it and you go, oh, it looks awesome. You're not objective. It doesn't look awesome. I'm a member of a bunch of self-publishing groups, and the newbies, you can tell the newbies because they post up, what do you think of this new cover I'm working on for my book? And it's horrendous. It's always horrendous. It's always terrible. It looks like it was homemade. It's, I don't know what you can compare it to. Trying to make your own car at home or something. You can't do book covers. There's people who are, professional designers. The exception that I will make is I have a friend who's a graphic designer. And when I started asking for his help, he was incredibly patient and helped me make some covers that are the simplest possible covers. And this is the covers for Hard Vacuum. The rest of the covers I haven't done myself, but the Hard Vacuum ones I have, because they're pictures of space with the text. And that way you're only doing the text and not the cover. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. I did the Green Star covers as well. But the Green Star covers took me ages, and with a lot of help from my friend Jeff. So if you have a very good friend who's a graphic designer who is patient enough to spend a dozen hours with you telling you exactly how to do something for each cover because you're not doing it right, then fine. Or if you're a graphic designer yourself and you're willing to spend a bunch of time rather than spend some money. But anyway, that takes me to the pre-made covers that I mentioned, which are about 30 bucks. And what you get for them is a cover that won't embarrass you. So the cover you make yourself is going to embarrass you. It will be embarrassing and you will look back at it and go, oh my god, why did I do that? The pre-made cover won't embarrass you, but it won't stand out. It'll look like the standard cover for that genre. It's not going to get you new readers on its own, but it's also not going to put people off. So that's 30 bucks. That's a bargain. 35 bucks, 40 bucks some places, but yeah, that's a bargain. Grab it if you can't afford the next one. which is a custom illustration. So 99 Designs is $300 to run a design contest for your cover. If you have $300 in any way, shape, or form, so remember, you've just sacrificed 100 to 150 hours to write this book. Sacrifice some money. Find somewhere where you can cut out some expenses and spend the $300 and get a custom illustration. And if you're on 99 Designs, you can't really go wrong. If don't see one you like, you don't have to spend any money, and you'll get so many responses that you're bound to find something you like. I think it's a fairly bad deal for the designer, really, because they have such little chance of winning. But I mean, that's their problem, I guess. It's an incredible deal. I can't believe that. I would say that designers are going to get slightly wise to it in the future, so grab it while it's there. There's no other way in hell that you could contact individual designers and say, there might be a chance that I give you $300, or I might give no one $300. How about 100 of you and your friends make a cover, and I'll decide which one's the best and only give $300 to them? That's a crazy idea. So go do it while it's available. Which brings me to the next things. So you've got developmental editing, which can cost about $500-600. Some places it costs $300, but it's a few hundred at least. If this is your first book, you need developmental editing. My first book, I just had it developmentally edited by Garrett Robinson, and it's a disaster, and I should have had it developmentally edited a year ago. But again, when you start writing, you think indie publishing is free. It's not free. It's free to load. I was going to say to put garbage out on Amazon. I was very, very careful. I spent 6 months editing that book. It's still not right, but I was very, very careful. It's gotten a 4.2, 4.3 star average. But even so, it could have had a 4.7, 4.8 if I'd actually edited it better by a professional. So developmental editing. And then there's copy editing. And copy editing is a difficult one because it costs the most. So it's let's see, about $200 per 10,000 words is kind of standard. You can find it cheaper, but you may be just kidding yourself by saving money there. And so for a novel, you're talking about $1,200 plus, which is a lot of money. And there's something to be said for the fact that I think if you're incredibly careful, you might be able to do it yourself, but you have to know grammar. If you've read, like if you see behind me, I've read quite a lot of books, and this is the books that I've bought since I'm in Norway, maybe a few from Ireland, but I've read hundreds and hundreds of books, so I would think that I have a fairly good grasp of grammar and spelling. I still don't. I've still got blind spots, but at least I have some kind of clue. If you don't read a lot, firstly, that's kind of silly if you want to be a writer, but you're not going to have the same grasp of spelling and grammar. I have a friend who's working on a book, and he doesn't read much. He reads some books, but not much. And his grammar and spelling is atrocious, like even in emails and stuff. So if you don't read a lot, I'm just guessing, obviously this isn't true for everyone, but I'm guessing that you don't know grammar and spelling, and you need a copy editor regardless of what you think. However, if you want to skip that at your own peril, because you will lose stars because of it, you can, if you do the drawer method, which is kind of what I've come up with after a year and a bit. And the drawer method is this. It's that you plan to release your book months and months and months after it's finished. So I finished Hard Vacuum 2 in July. I gave it a month and then read it, and then I'm doing a copy edit at the moment. I did first round of copy editing, now I'm doing the second round of copy editing, then I'm waiting another month, then I'm going to do a third round of copy editing, and the rounds are involved reading it out loud. So let's see, so I'm doing a Boggle edit. Boggle is my copy editing thing for getting rid of passive tense and stuff like that. Then I do a read out loud edit. Sorry, I'm telling a lie. Boggle, then sentence structure, because that's come up with my developmental editor Garrett. Then, and it came up a lot before in the last month. And then I'm reading it out loud, and then I'm waiting a month, and then I'm reading it out loud again in November, end of October, start of November. And the book is then out on 1st of December, so I'm considering I might even give it another read out loud after that. It's incredibly boring, and your time, as I say, is worth money, so maybe it's just worth spending the money. So, why am I saying all of this? This is kind of a long video. Because I made these mistakes, and anyone who's new is going to make the exact same mistakes, because I just see it over and over and over and over and over again. Because you think of the fact that it's going to cost you nearly $2,000, or even maybe more than $2,000 to publish your book, and you're back to the stage where you're at the traditional publisher thing of, well, this sounds ridiculous. By the way, just to warn people off, don't go for any of the author solutions kind of crap, where they're saying they'll publish your book and do everything for thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm talking about contacting the actual professionals yourself and getting a relationship with them, and then finding professionals yourself. It requires a lot of legwork, but do that. Don't go for the stupid scammy things. And people will try and scam you as well. That's another thing to be aware of, that people are well aware that there's an indie marketing or indie book gold rush at the moment, and it's the people that selling the shovels that are making the money. So there's people trying to sell fake shovels. So saving the money, you're going to think you can save the money, but you can't. You can save the money, but then your book is going to suffer for it. And I don't like, it's not going to sell, and you're then going to be disappointed and think, well, there's no money in these books. There's no money in the books if you don't put money into the books. It's like any business, you have to invest some money. The last thing actually I mentioned, since I just thought of it, is then you have to have marketing money, and you have to spend it incredibly wisely. So that's where things like storytelling podcast, self-publishing podcast, stuff like that comes in, where a lot of people use money on marketing and then warn other authors what doesn't work. So it's important to keep up with that. So for instance, Facebook ads don't work. At least they haven't worked for anyone that I've heard of. Sometimes competitions work, sometimes they don't. Those free books email things work, but they're becoming less effective because every author has kind of picked up on that strategy. So you need to have some money in the bank also for marketing. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about. The fact, triggered by the fact that I've just seen a whole new slew of people saying, look at my cover, isn't it great? And it's not. It's definitely not. If you're going to do one thing, pay for your cover. I would say that will get you readers. It may be tricking readers. Your book may be terrible, filled with mistakes because you haven't paid for editing, but at least someone will check out your book, and that's, if from a selfish point of view at least, that's important. So I paid for a custom cover for my first book, and that was probably the most important decision I made. Anyway, Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.